Forza Sprout Friday at 5 a.m. Community is saying Forza is favored. They're pretty even in their head-to-head too. 16 wins. Forza 16 wins. 13 wins for Sprout. So they're up. They got up by 3 wins right now. Last time they played was April 1st, and Sprout won. Is that okay? In the last say 5 matches, Forza's 3-2, and Sprout is 2-3. Instead of picking like a straight up winner, I'd be willing to put good money that this goes over 2.5 maps. And when they've played each other, right? The last was a sweep. So that's why that's most likely why the odds are showing better. You're getting better odds if you go for the 2.5 because they think it's likely going to be a sweep for 4s. A 2-0 sweep. But with those 3 maps, 100%. Yeah. It's like if we showed their head-to-heads, look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their matches have gone to 3.
Yeah.
And when they go to 3, 4s typically wins. If you look at these, when it's a sweep, it's gone Sprout almost every time. That's the Sprout. But anyways, you're getting way better odds on GG.BET. So you're getting better odds taking Sprout and taking the over. I think I like the over a lot in this.
I would go over. Like I don't know. I would probably lean more towards 4s, but I would definitely go over.
I think the likelihood of getting it over, like just for an example, a $100 wager on this doubles your money.
Doubles your money. Yeah.
I like that. I like that bet a lot. I think if you're looking at these two teams, looking at the history, the likelihood of them going to 3 maps is pretty high, especially because they've gone to overtime 5 times. The 16-13, the rankings are extremely close. When you look at the analysis and you look at the likelihood, you would just automatically assume that they're gonna go to at least the 3rd map. Or it should be somewhat close.
Yeah, because even their last series was 2 maps, but they went to overtime on that.
The only problem is that Sprout is literally getting crushed by everybody right now in their last 3 maps, or last 3 matches. And when you look at the map pool, 4s is dominant over them, especially if they can train. Right, training does too. 71% win rates on both of those maps. So.
And they could probably their only good map is Vertigo, it looks like, or Vertigo and Dust 2. But even then, 4s is better on Dust 2, and they can just permaban Vertigo.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the market and the analytics, people are saying that this is going to be a 2-0 sweep by 4s. That's what the market is saying and indicating. Somehow Train gets in there, like easily take like a handicap for 4s on that. Like take
4s, yeah.
Oh, 100%. I would look at them. Whatever the handicap is, I would probably take them to cover it. Something I would take is probably to cover the spread. That's another good bet. So like two bets I like here, right? So you could say I think Sprout will cover the spread at 2.5 or at 1.5.
Yeah.
Right, and they're giving you plus 134. On that. So that's another good bet. That's a good bet, but here's the stupid thing. And I'll never understand why they do this. If that's the case, right? If you have Sprout to cover at 134, why do I have better odds for the maps to go over 2? So looking at 4s and Sprout, our final thoughts are: 1, we think this is going to go to 3 maps.
Yeah.
Right. So I would look at definitely taking the over. Your best odds there. Take over 2.5. I would also look at Sprout covering the handicap at 1.5. I think that's a nice bet too there.
Yeah, I would try and do live betting when the map pool is being selected though.
100%. That the outcome on maps has so much on the match itself.
Yeah.
That's why it's hard to put in your bets early. The only thing I would do right now is to have the maps go over, and then I would take a very close eye on what maps are picked. This is fun stuff. DreamHack Masters, this is Friday, May 7th, 10:45 a.m. Right now, believe it or not, it's weird to say this now, I know Device is gone. The community's picking at almost a 70-30 split G2
Yeah.
over Astralis.
Yeah, and G2, they've been hot and cold. They've looked well the last few days in DreamHack. And Astralis, they've been hot and cold too, but with Bubsky now, Bubsky's been he's obviously their full timer now. He's been showing up really well, but you know, it's a lot of freshness to the team. Just losing your star player, it's tough to recover from that.
Well, G2 are actually quite heavily favored in this to win the
Yeah.
match overall. If you look at head-to-heads, like Astralis has smashed G2 in every way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at recent performances, like
Yeah.
this is tough. So in terms of gambling, there's some people who go based off of like the historical matchups. Like they'll look at the last 20 years. Astralis has always beat G2, or you know the Toronto Maple Leafs have always beaten Florida Panthers. Like it's like a staggering win rate. But then there's other people that go, well, you know, it's different players. Does it really matter? Like now we got to look at who's in form. So it's a tough dynamic because I can see both. When there are just like, certain teams where like guys are like they feel comfortable and you just always beat them. Like you feel like you're always gonna win no matter what.
Yeah. But
he's definitely in much better form.
Way better form
than Astralis. Astralis is ranked higher.
Which somehow
to heavily favor G2 in this.
Yeah, I would agree, but it's also tough because you know it's following the stories of G2 always choking and Astralis always finding a way to win. That's what's always scary.
I know when you look at, I mean the only match that G2's lost in recent history was to Gambit.
Yeah.
And it was a 2-1 game, and Gambit are
they are the best team in the world
right now. So I think we both agree. I have a strong feeling if I were to look at this that G2 will win. I think it's more likely that G2 wins 2-1 than it is 2-0.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna see. I think you see Dust 2. I think you'll see Vertigo. I think you'll see Nuke. Play on Nuke, I think G2 will beat them like 16-10. I think the one here, like if Nuke comes up here, I will definitely take like a handicap on the map of like 5.5, like right here.
Yeah.
Like it's almost 3 times your money for G2 to beat them by 5.
I think they'll go to 3 maps, but G2 wins.
Okay, so on a $100 bet, you take G2 straight up, you win $60 essentially.
Yeah.
Right now, that's probably the best bet here. It's not the best value, but I think in terms of safety, I think that's going to be the right thing.
Yeah.
Correct score, 2-1 G2.
Yeah.
You did say 2-1 G2 is at 354. So they think it's going to be a 2-0 sweep, but a 2-1 is a nice juicy melon right there at $354.
Yeah.
Look at just the straight up indicators, right? So you look at obviously their history, like the historical shows G2's in way better form than Astralis. Number one. Number two, they just lost their best player, right? They've just had a roster change. Okay, that's another key indicator on Astralis not being in the best form versus G2 being in better form. 3, then you look at players, right? How are the players doing individually? Xipix less than 1. Glaive less than 1. Magisk barely over 1. Bubsky barely over 1. Then you go to G2, you got Jax. Jax is at a 9.7. He's almost out of 1. You got Nico at a 1.12. Hunter's at 1.14.
Hunter's been going
Ominix at almost a 1, and Nex is almost out of 1. I like G2 to win straight up, and I also like this bet right here. I like this G2 2-1 win at a 354.
Yeah, that's juicy. That is very juicy.
I like those odds. It's also kind of nice versus Navi. This is an interesting matchup because you got Furia coming in at number 7, you've got Navi coming in at number 4. Now it's different Navi. What's crazy is that Furia's on fire, like legit on fire.
They are
a 3-match win streak, right?
Yeah.
And they have not lost a single map in that time, so they're 6-0. They swept them. Now I think if I'm a betting man, which I am, and that's what we're looking at, I think we are looking at a 100% sweep in favor of either Navi or Furia. Look at this
You think
history.
sweep? Yeah.
The map under is and over. Not the best odds here. Obviously,
No.
you're getting better numbers at over, which means they likely think it's going to be a sweep as well, right? The
Yeah.
odds are the bookmaker just
That's
saying
what
it's
they're
going to be a
thinking.
sweep.
Yeah.
Now they think it's going to be a sweep in favor of Navi. So if I'm looking at these, I really like the under. Then I take the under at 2.5.
Yeah.
Take an under or just take Navi to win. Or do you take
You think
Navi
it's
to win 2-1? Like, look at the odds you get Navi at 2-1. I think Furia wins one map.
But and if that's the case, then you go Fury, take the 2-1 bet at 4.5.
I like this bet. I think I like that bet. I think they win a map. I think that's your safety net. It's not the best odds. Like you're only gonna win $45 on a $100 bet. But I think that's your safety net. Furia are playing well. They're in form. They have 3 players that are playing exceptionally well. The only problem is that form is not a very their matchups. The recent matchups is not a very good indicator of how technically well they are. The only thing I actually feel comfortable on is that Furia just wins one map.
Furia right now.
The map pool looks deeper for Furia, and they've got 3 players that are pretty much in good form. I kind of want to look at some combos here. Like, let's look at some parlays. So best is this to take Furia at +1.5. Right. And I think I just take G2 to win one map. So if this +1.5 for those people who don't know, this just means that G2 just has to win one map. That's all it is. If they win 2, you still win. But if they win 1, you win. So if we do that, if we take the over, there we go. So now this pays you a 3.65 multiplier. In my opinion, these are your safest bets for Friday, May 7th, which would be Furia wins one map, G2 wins one map, and Forza and Sprout go over. Now,